there, crafty people. This is Tammy coming at you from Rainy Day Makers on Facebook and Spoozy Boo Co. on Etsy. That's SPOOSYBOOCO. I'm glad that you're all here. Hope you enjoy this video. If you do, please give us a thumbs up or a heart. And we'd love it if you subscribe to our YouTube channel. I am going to do a little journal page for you today, a little art journal page. There's a couple things I wanted to show you first about some of the things I'm going to be using. So first of all, Sharon, my friend Sharon, and I work together, and she has some of these cards up on our Etsy shop. I'll show you what size these are. Let's see. They are almost 3 inches across by about 4 inches tall, and this one would be a little bit bigger. It'll be the background. This is 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. And I am going to be putting some of these faux buttons up on the Etsy page too in Spoozy Boo Co. Sometimes you don't want the bulk of a regular button, so using glossy accents. It's a dimensional medium, clear dimensional medium, if you can read that. I love this stuff. It's just adds a lot. So that would be the side that doesn't have any on it. So it's just basically a piece of cardstock. And this side has the dimensional glossy accents on it. So I think they look really cute and kind of vintagey. So I'm going to make a couple of these so you can see them made. And these I'm just going to be inking up the edges on. Some of the other stuff that I'm going to use is I'm going to use one of these little tags. I think Sharon has these up on, or will have them up at least, on our Spoozy Boo Co. page in Etsy. They are a little over 4 by 1 1/4 inches. This one already happens to be inked up. I have a little piece of very vintage cloth measuring tape that I'm going to use. I have some just little very vintage cloth swatches. So it used to be that you could order material swatches, and not online, you'd have to mail order them, and you could also order the actual fabric. So you could send away for the swatches, and then you could choose the fabric that you wanted. So I got these out of some stuff that was in my mother-in-law's stash, and so I think this is the first time I'm actually going to use a few of them. I'm also going to be using just some old pattern paper, and I've wrinkled it up. I'm going to use it wrinkly because I like that better. And also some of the pattern instructions. So some of this kind of stuff. And I'm going to be maybe using some cute little washi tape here. Create what you love, it says, but it's a sewing theme, so it kind of goes along with what I'm doing here. And I have a tiny little bowl clip that I'm going to use. So I'm going to first show you how that I make the buttons. So I'm just going to make a few, just so you can kind of see. So I've got this little board here, and I've got some buttons that I cut out from with my Cricut. So I've got a few different shapes. So let's do one of each shape. That'll show you. And I've got some different materials. Let's see, what one do I have? I need a heart. Okay. So, as you can see, I did them on some different double-sided cardstock. So we're going to use one side of each. Then screw this back away. And all you got to do here is get your glossy accents. Make sure that that it's nice and open, because you don't want to struggle. Hope I was in frame. You don't want to struggle with getting it out of the bottle. Just a little tip. I always put a pin on glue, anything that gets clogged. I put a pin on there and just put a little Scotch tape over it, and then you always have that pin handy. So just a little tip from me to you. And I'm going to use my little ruler just to hold these down while I do this. And so you want to use quite a bit, but it does stop for the most part when it gets to an edge. So you can kind of go down the middle, and if it goes into a hole, you're kind of done for. But it's pretty easy not to go into a hole, okay? So it's pretty cool how this stuff works, because it kind of stops when it gets to the edge. I don't know why that is. I understand you can use resin the same way, but I've never used resin, and honestly, glossy accents is a little easier because you don't have to mix anything. It's already pre-mixed. Okay, so you see where, I don't know if you can see this, but it kind of missed some of the paper there. So I'm gonna just get a little bit closer there, add a little more, because I want to make sure that there's no, as much as possible, that there's no actual paper showing, and that you're seeing the full dimension of the product. Now this stuff does take a while to dry, so like I probably wouldn't be able to do anything with these buttons until tomorrow. So just keep that in mind. That's why I'm doing it on this little piece of bookboard, because I can just pick up the bookboard and set it aside and be good to go on to whatever I'm doing next, and just let it dry without having to bother the buttons themselves. So yeah, we're gonna do a little journal page in my wallpaper journal. I also have, so I make wallpaper journals sometimes, and I've sold them before. And I do, they're actually, the reason why I like wallpaper journals is because you already have something for your background, right? You don't necessarily, you could do more for the background for sure, but you've already got an image, and it could be very cool, or it could be very modern or very vintage looking. It just depends on the wallpaper you use. And so I have wallpaper packs on our Spoozy Boo Co. Site. I think that looks pretty good. Can you see that? Hopefully I was in frame for everything. So I'm just going to set these back. Sorry about my arm. And I'll just let those dry until tomorrow, and they'll be ready to use. And then, just be sure to put your lid back on your glossy accents. And so I'm going to go ahead and ink up a few things here. Okay, that's good enough. All right, so I'm gonna put my ink away. Okay, so let's move this out of here. I'm gonna move everything over in front of you. My ruler out of the way too. And let's see, I think that that'll be okay. So the first thing I did, I told you that I'm using the pattern paper, and I like really wrinkled it up. And I'm gonna use these for kind of background behind my images. So get those nice and wrinkly and rough. Some of them have torn edges, some of them don't. So we're going to put the bottom one down first. And I think let's get this one. So I'm gonna put this down here. So I'm gonna glue this on. Get my glue. This is just PVA, again with a little plastic tape, scotch tape, and a pin. But I just unclogged it, so it should be fine. Oops, put that aside. I love using these little bottles, so I just buy PVA glue, and you could also just use a glue stick if you want, especially on paper like this. This is going to stick to anything, so I don't even need to use much. Get that glued down, and then that is going to go down here. Maybe I'll do a little curve. Let's see. This is going to put the page, so yeah. So there, I'm going to put it like that. Well, let's get some, you know, the white glue, that PVA glue, it glues, I mean it dries clear, so I think it's fine to use. I use it all the time. I'm sure there's other choices out there, so don't worry. But I'm going to go off the page a little bit down here. Hopefully you can, let's see. So I'm going off the page a little bit at the bottom. And then we're going to do this piece next. So let's see. I don't want her head covered up. Okay, there we go. All right, so I'm going to glue these two together. So I'm going to add these three little cute swatches here. Just kind of like that. I think that looks pretty good, and we'll just use the PVA to glue them down. Some people would want to use Fabri-Tac, and I like Fabri-Tac too, but I have the PVA right now, so that's what I'm using. So when you're collaging, it's always a good idea to try to let your pieces touch. It gives you a lot more continuity, I think. So rather than, when you're collaging, rather than spreading each piece out away from each other, at least for me, I think it looks better when your pieces are actually touching for the most part. I mean, they don't all have to touch, but like if you had a bigger piece of paper and you had a piece down at the bottom and a pieces up here, maybe you want some pieces up here touching and some pieces down here touching, but something just to draw your eye around the page. One more piece of cloth. I think These are so cute. I love vintage fabrics. Okay, and then I'm going to turn this up. I'm going to make a little pocket and put this in the pocket. Isn't that cute? I love that. So I'm just going to glue the sides shut. And a little bit of glue on each side. Just like that. And then my little bowl clip, I'm just going to bowl clip this right to the side here. Thought that would be cute. And then it kind of holds my glue. There we go. Okay. So that kind of holds the glue closed and it looks cute. And then we can just put our little, I don't want to pull the glue open, but I'll show you what this looks like real quick, hopefully. So anyway, see, I've got to let the glue dry, but I think that'll look really cute in there. So I'll let the glue dry before I put that all the way in. And then I have some washi tape. So I thought I would see where I could put some washi tape. Another strip of washi tape on. Again, finding the edge is just a challenge. There we go. So where else? Yeah, I'll put some just right there. That'll be fine. And now I'll just show you where I'm going to glue the buttons. It's going to look so cute. Put that one in the middle. Oops, at least put the words right side up, huh? Now, you know, if you wanted to sew some thread through there, you could, but I'm not going to. I'm just gonna leave them just like they are. I did, on these buttons before I put the glossy accents on, I actually inked the edges so they look kind of vintage, and that's what I will do to the, so I've got a whole bunch of those made, as you can see. And I'm gonna make some more buttons with some other paper, but I'm going to be sure, like the ones I did for you, I forgot to ink the edges. So when I make more to put in the shop, I'm going to ink the edges, so that, at least on part of them, so that they look nice and vintage. And as far as all this that's hanging off, I mean, you can pull off the edges if you want. You don't have to, but you can. Excuse my arm in the way. But that's it. It's kind of cute, isn't it? I like it. I hope you have enjoyed this video. And if you have, please give us a thumbs up or a heart, and subscribe to our channel. Again, we are, Sharon and I are with Rainy Day Makers on Facebook group, and we'd love for you to join us there. It's just a place where you can play with your skills and show them off a little bit. There's no critiquing, anything like that, and we try to show a little bit about what we're doing. So, and then of course our Etsy site is again Spoozy Boo Co. So you have a great new year, and we'll be seeing you. Bye-bye.